Okay, so this is a question about salvation. Could you please explain and put into context Philippians 2:12, where Paul instructs believers to quote, work out your salvation with fear and trembling? This verse seems to cast salvation as a process of steps requiring human input rather than the instantaneous intersection of grace and faith. Okay, so the first thing to say about Philippians chapter 2:12 is it's not actually referencing the moment of salvation. We know that because of the way the word is used. It's confusing because the word salvation is in there, and you're thinking, well, isn't that talking about salvation? Let me give you an analogy. Let's say I'm retiring on January 4th. That's going to be my retirement date, and there will be a day when I retire. I actually, you know, clock out for the last day of my life, and I'm officially a retired man. Well, the next day I'm going to wake up. I mean, mentally, I have not retired. I still feel like I've got to go to work. I still feel all the weight of those responsibilities. I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. I mean, it's going to be a process over the next 6 months to a year where I begin to work out the implications of my retirement. Now, in the same way, that's exactly what's going on here in Philippians chapter 2. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. So what Paul is saying is there is a reality that has happened, and I want you to work that out into your life. And the reason, and then he gives you a reason. He says, for what? For it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. In other words, God will give you both the desire and the ability to work out that salvation with fear and trembling. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful examples of the intersection of the divine and the human. Um, you've got mystery there, and as I said many times, I think it's right and proper to leave those things in tension. Leave them in tension. We ought to do that. That's right to do. Don't try to resolve everything in the Bible. I mean, the Jewish mind, they're like, okay, God says that He's predestined us, and and it also says we have a choice. It's a real choice. And they're perfectly comfortable leaving that tension there. And we say to ourselves, "Oh, that can't be because that doesn't make sense." And they would turn around and look at us and go, "Who are you? Who are you to say that doesn't make sense?" What doesn't make sense is the creature questioning the creator. That's what doesn't make sense. So I think we ought to be really careful about trying to resolve those things. Just glory in it. Glory in the fact that it's true. Glory in the fact that God has predestined us, that He has called us from the foundation of the earth, that even as we are working out our salvation, we can rest assured that it is God who is at work in us, both to will and to work for His good pleasure. I mean, those are beautiful doctrines that have all sorts of soul comforting implications. So just love it. Love the fact that both those things are mentioned in the scriptures. Um, we have responsibility, and there's divine sovereignty right there to help us. I love that tension. I think it is a beautiful and helpful and practical tension that God leaves in the scriptures. So encourage you to think along those lines.